All right, Ruthless slash Oval fans. I talked about this in my recent video about does Ruth have a plan to, bring down the Rakudushi compound? But I'm still getting questions about this in the comment section of my Instagram post or even on DMs or tweets. But people still want to know, Jeremy, the timelines aren't matching up. How did Tally make it out, but Ruth hasn't? I have to keep reiterating, and I'm not talking down to anyone, but have you not watched Ruthless or checked out my Ruthless playlist? Because I got reviews every episode. If you, and I'm not getting into timeline stuff, I've talked about that like 100 million times. I'm done trying to map it out because it doesn't make sense. I mean, even since season 1 of Ruthless, it's been clear that the timelines are off at least by 24 to 72 hours, or at the very least, Ruthless is moving at a time that doesn't match up with the Oval whatsoever. Tally should have been escaped. Well, Tally should have been out of the compound at Richard and Nancy's house and killed herself by now based off the Oval timeline. I'm going to be honest here. It's kind of weird how that worked out because it got to a certain point where I felt like, oh, I guess Tyler Perry is kind of like not forgetting necessarily that Ruthless and the Oval are, that Ruthless is a spin-off show of the Oval, but it felt like as time goes on, it was kind of becoming its own thing, kind of like Bruh and Sisters. But the fact that season 2 of the Oval has so many Ruthless characters, it's impossible to say that they're separate shows anymore. Sure, they might have different names, but it's still the same universe. But specifically in season 2 of Ruthless, when it got to a point where Ruth began to focus more on aligning herself with the likes of River in order to sabotage the Rakudushis by, moving money into different accounts. Basically, there's a group of defectors within the Rakudushi who not only want to leave the compound as well as the group, but they don't want to leave empty-handed. It's like, hey, when I get out into the real world, I need some money so I can get the hell up, out of this compound and have a safety net, because of the fact that River is one of those forward thinkers and knows for a fact that the compound is going to get to a point where it's not going to hold. He's like a forward thinker, and him and some other key allies are the key allies are the foundation of their plan. I mean, there's already been a group of defectors who tried to escape. They got caught and brutally murdered by the highest. So they have to think more strategically now because more eyes are going to be on them. So it got to a point where now he's convinced that the highest needs to take a wife. That way, people within the compound won't, talk amongst themselves questioning his sexuality and whatnot. So from there, Ruth is the candidate to be his potential wife. And that could be an even greater way of manipulating the situation to cover, basically having Ruth more reliable, trustworthy, and showing she's definitely willing to do whatever it takes with Rakudushi is a wonderful way of their plan working even better. Because if River is able to whisper in Ruth's ear, who will then whisper into the highest ear, it's going to be a situation where they can definitely run the place. Now, you could argue that on the Tally side, this wasn't part of the plan. The plan was for me and you to get our kids, to get some money and get out of here. But unbeknownst to them, the Rakudushi are definitely low on funds. It's been kind of a running thing between the elder mothers to bring up the fact that the money trailer, they don't have a lot because of all the money laundering going on between Lilo and the cartel through the Rakudushi. They only get the bare minimum. They get peanuts compared to the millions of dollars that moves through the Rakudushi. So basically, I forget her name. Let me see if I can look it up. Is it Joan? I think that's the name of the one member who works in the money trailer, the finance trailer. She's kind of in charge of helping things move along from, the Rakudushi compound to the different companies that the money goes through, to look legit to the government. But she's also trying to manipulate money to go into these separate accounts. That way, when some of the members escape on the outside, they have the safety net from the accounts, and then from there they can help other members escape too, and then they'll be good to go. So essentially, we're in a situation here where they're being watched closer than ever. I think the group from and I could be wrong, I think it's the yellow trailer, the one that has Lacey, Paula, Zane, and now Tally and Joan too, trying to escape. The elder mother is like, no, we lock the doors at night. That way we're not going to get in trouble like the other elder mother from the red trailer who had those other people escape. So basically they have to think strategically. I believe Lacey had taken the car keys to Lilo's ride. That way they can take it and escape. But Tally is actually trying to escape as well. One of the biggest things about season 2 is that Ruth is kind of running with another crowd now within the compound. So Tally feels a bit scorned by that because Ruth is definitely going against their original plan. And Tally has made some very reckless decisions, from messing around with Yancey, trying to get the keys to see her daughter, and now that's been blowing up in her face. And also I think there was a point where her and Ruth were in the kitchen and the highest came in, and everything was going good. He was praising her for being a good member of the cult again, pretty much being within the good graces of the Raku. But she risked it all by asking about where Andrew went, and Ruth got on her for that. It's like, why the hell did you ask that question? So basically raising suspicion. But I do feel like Tally is going to lose her cool because obviously she feels like Ruth isn't following their original plan, and it's like, you know what, do what you want. You get yours, I'm going to get mine. It's like, I remember our original plan was to get the hell out of here. But I feel like she's becoming a bit more unstable, from being pregnant by Andrew, and then Andrew and her kind of being in a bad situation due to Yancey. So I think it's going to come to a point where she's going to escape out of desperation. Who knows? Maybe she'll overhear Lacey and the girls talking one night, and perhaps she takes the car keys and decides to leave, and then that's how she gets far away enough to get to Richard and Nancy's place. But who knows? I just feel like Ruth is going to stay on the inside because I feel like she's been hurt, threatened, and scorned so much by the highest in the compound. She wants to teach these people a lesson. She's that bad bitch where it's like, no, I'm not just going to run away. You're going to pay for what you've done to me, and I'm going to get mine. I'm about to get this money and bring this place down from the inside out. It's kind of like Candace on the haves and the have-nots, like when the Malones gave her a ticket out back in season 1, where it's like, look, here's a bus ticket. If you split town and never bother the criers again, we won't bother you either. She's like, no, I'm a first class kind of bitch. So basically, she stuck around to teach Jim a lesson instead of just taking the easy out to get out of there. Ruth is the same way. There have been a few opportunities where it's possible she could have escaped the compound, but she's chosen not to. She's going to stick to this new plan, following the likes of River and Joan, as opposed to her original ally Tally. So I feel like as season 2 goes on, it's going to get to a point where Tally's going to take a chance, even though it means not getting her daughter, and escaping from the compound. And that of course leads to Nancy and Richard's house and her dying. But Ruth is going to be on the inside due to the fact that, well, she's still got a mission to fulfill. So that's what I think. Tally is going her own way. Ruth is going hers as well. So that's why Tally, I don't know how exactly she will escape the compound. We just know it's going to happen eventually. And given the fact that, well, we know that the Rakudushi are one to chase people down and run them off the road, and we know that Tally's pretty beaten up by the time she makes it to Richard and Nancy's house, who's to say that, she doesn't escape in Lilo's car with Lacey, Zane, and Paula, but they get into a bad accident and Tally's the only one to survive. You just never know. But thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this is the last time I have to talk about this subject. Hopefully when the show returns in November and finish up the back half of season 2, we'll finally see Tally escaping. That way we can put it to bed forever. And for me, the biggest question is, does Ruth even know at this point in the Oval that Tally's already dead? Because remember, she's going to go back to the hospital room next week. Barry's still passed out and you got Richard and Nancy there. I wonder if Tally's going to be brought up you know, Callie's going to be brought up. I wonder if Tally is going to be brought up in the conversation. So also, speaking of going to Richard and Nancy's house, remember that Ruth told Tally about the $100,000+ that's at Richard and Nancy's house. And I wonder if that could have been another reason Tally decided to go there. Not just because, you know, Ruth would talk about how nice and kind Nancy was. And that could be like a safe house for her. But what if she had the intentions of taking the money? Now, we know that actually doesn't happen in the Oval because she offs herself. But I'm just wondering, could that be another reason where it's like, you know what, Ruth, fine. If you want to stay, you do that. But I know where I'm going to go to get some money so I can go on the run. So we'll just have to wait and see. But guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.